This is another level. This is a really dangerous. He ain't fighting a granddad. He isn't fighting a grandfather. It's absolutely lunacy. It's insane.
And we've got some breaking news for you now, because we're hearing that AJ is in talks with Jake Paul over a deal for a heavyweight fight in Miami next.
About AJ fighting Jake Paul, if I'm honest. Yeah. It's definitely a fight that we are talking about. It's definitely a fight that is...
Like I say, I hope Jake Paul is mad enough and he picks Anthony Joshua, you know, because I don't think he's that mental.
Boxing pros, shocking reaction on Anthony Joshua vs Jake Paul fight. Duke McKenzie highlights how dangerous this fight truly is, calling it a clear mismatch between Anthony Joshua's world-class power and Jake Paul's inexperience. He believes Jake has not earned the right to face a fighter of Joshua's level, and if this happens, it could end badly for Jake Paul.
He hasn't earned the right, I don't believe, to fight Anthony Joshua. It's not like he's beaten, 4 or 5, top line heavyweights, other heavyweights. I don't believe he's boxed any heavyweights.
Tony Bellew doesn't mince words. The former world champion calls this fight a gross mismatch, warning that Jake Paul's health could be in serious danger against Anthony Joshua. Bellew sees it as madness, not ambition, a YouTuber walking into the ring with a man built for destruction. To him, Jake is gambling his life, not just his career.
It's just a gross mismatch.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand his health is in jeopardy. So, I'm not even entertaining it. I just think it's dangerous. And listen, I might have to work it, but it's just...
It's kind of ludicrous, isn't it, really?
It's insane. This boy is nuts. Is nuts. And I think he's putting his life before he's putting his life before money.
Eddie Hearn confirms what fans suspected all along. Talks for Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul are very real. But his tone quickly turns serious as he warns Jake to be careful, reminding everyone of Joshua's terrifying power. Hearn's message is simple and sharp. This isn't entertainment, it's real fighting, and AJ doesn't play with his food.
He's like that. But I said to Jake Paul, you ain't in a box, mate. This ain't David Blaine. I said, so just be careful, because AJ will take your head clean off your shoulders, and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And you take on that responsibility, and we all have to, so we've got to think about that. But this is Anthony fighting a top 50 cruiserweight in the world. It's not something that we would normally do.
Yeah.
But
Derek Chisora's words strike deep because they echo what the boxing world secretly fears. If Anthony Joshua even lets Jake Paul survive 3 rounds, it becomes an embarrassment for the sport. This is supposed to be heavyweight boxing, not influencer entertainment. Chisora is saying what everyone is thinking: if Jake Paul lasts too long, it damages Joshua's image and exposes just how far boxing has drifted towards circus promotion over competition.
I will say this to AJ, don't let that guy knock you out, because that will be fucking nightmares forever. But 1 or 2, put it this way, AJ has to kill him in 3 rounds.
Spencer Oliver exposes the uncomfortable truth. This fight is a money move, not a boxing move. Anthony Joshua is chasing the payday, not the challenge. And that's what makes this controversial. For purists, this bout insults the heavyweight legacy. A YouTuber earning a shot at one of Britain's greatest champions cheapens the entire sport. But for promoters, it's genius hype, clicks, and cash over honor. Oliver voices what most professionals won't say out loud, and it's dividing the boxing world right down the middle.
Well, Anthony Joshua is talking about wanting warm-up fights before going into bigger fights, but look, it's prize fighting at the end of the day, and the way that Joshua was here and Matchroom and all the team, the fans won't like this, by the way.
I don't like it
No,
either.
I don't like it either. But the way that Joshua is here is as a money grab. He'll see it as an easy money grab, but at this stage of his career, is it a fight he should be taking?
Johnny Nelson's comments spark even more controversy. He praises Jake Paul's marketing brilliance, but questions whether this fight is even real. That's a bombshell, a respected voice suggesting the line between sport and spectacle has vanished. Nelson's right about one thing: Jake Paul has gamed the system. He's turned boxing into content and convinced the world to watch him do it. It's clever, it's profitable, and it's completely rewriting the sport's credibility.
If I was at this stage of his career, I'd take Jake Paul. I'd take Jake Paul because there's more money there. If it was real, I don't think it's real. I think it's bullshit. I think Jake Paul I think it's bullshit. I think it's Jake Paul has done.
Simon Jordan delivers what feels like the voice of the fans. He admits he'd love to see Joshua knock Jake Paul straight out of boxing and back into Hollywood. It's funny, but it's also a reflection of the backlash. Fans are angry that YouTube hype is being treated like world-class boxing. Jordan's comment underlines the controversy at the heart of this fight. Has boxing become an entertainment franchise instead of a sport built on merit? For many, this bout is proof that money now decides opportunity, not talent.
Because I'd like to see him knock Jake Paul into the next bout. But in the reality of what I think it's worth, no. I am moderately interested in seeing him fight Tyson Fury. Because I think it's the only box that's left done.
Tyson Fury's comments shook the boxing world, and many believe he said it just to stir chaos. Calling Jake Paul the man to knock out Anthony Joshua is the kind of line that guarantees headlines, but deep down, even Fury knows the gap in class is monumental. He calls Joshua a spent force and praises Jake's new heavyweight look, but that sounds more like banter than belief. Tyson might be teasing both men, playing the media like a fiddle, because let's be honest, Jake Paul knocking out Anthony Joshua is as likely as Fury losing to a YouTuber in his prime. It's entertainment, not prediction.
Don't know about chewing up. I think Jake Paul knocks him out.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why so? What impresses you about Jake Paul?
I just think Jake Paul would knock AJ out. I think AJ's a spent force, and I think Jake Paul's on the rise. And I like his new heavyweight look.
Tommy Fury completely dismissed the idea of Jake Paul surviving against Anthony Joshua. After beating Jake himself, he speaks with confidence and experience. His tone is sharp, mocking, and brutally real. Tommy is not being disrespectful for hype. He's stating facts based on what he saw in the ring. If Jake struggled to land on him, how will he handle Joshua's size, power, and precision? Tommy believes AJ could finish him inside a minute, even with one arm. It's harsh, but it captures how professional boxers truly view Jake Paul as an entertainer, stepping far beyond his limits.
But if I can beat Jake Paul, then excuse my French, what the fuck is Anthony Joshua going to do to Jake Paul? I think my dad said that AJ could beat him with his prick, and I completely will back that up. Even if AJ had a broken arm in there, it still wouldn't go past a minute.
Derek Chisora didn't sugarcoat it. His words cut straight to the point. Jake Paul, in his eyes, doesn't have the power, skill, or experience to even trouble Anthony Joshua. Chisora predicts a brutal ending, saying Jake would leave the arena in an ambulance. It's a chilling statement, but one grounded in reality. Heavyweight boxing is not for the inexperienced, and Joshua's punches are not something you can YouTube your way through. Chisora's blunt honesty captures the feeling across the boxing world this fight might sell, but the outcome would be ugly.
Whatever happens will be exciting.
Does he have the power to knock out Joshua?
Nah, he hasn't got the power to knock out Joshua.
How does that fight end?
Jake Paul going to an ambulance, bro.
Jake Paul keeps calling this a challenge, but the truth is it sounds more like wishful thinking than courage. He says people want to see him lose, and he's right, because the boxing world sees this as reality meeting fantasy. Anthony Joshua is not just another influencer call-out, he's a two-time world champion who has flattened giants. The idea that a handful of celebrity fights somehow prepares Jake for Joshua is almost comical. Sliding into AJ's DMs doesn't make him qualified to share the ring, it just proves how far hype can stretch. Every fighter says they want the challenge until they face a real one. When Jake finally does, he might realize boxing isn't built on bravado, but blood, skill, and years of pain in the gym.
And so I like the challenge.
Spencer Oliver breaks down the uncomfortable truth this fight is all business. Anthony Joshua knows it, Matchroom knows it, and the fans know it. It's a money grab disguised as a challenge, an easy payday wrapped in hype. Spencer's frustration is shared by boxing traditionalists who hate seeing elite fighters waste their time on circus-level matchups. Joshua doesn't need to prove anything by knocking out a YouTuber, and yet the lure of massive pay-per-view money makes it hard to ignore. Oliver's honesty cuts through the marketing noise. This might make financial sense, but for the sport, it's another step away from legitimacy.
Well, Anthony Joshua was talking about wanting warm-up fights before going into bigger fights, but look, it's prize fighting at the end of the day, and the way that Joshua will see it, and Matchroom and all the team, the fans won't like this, by the way. But
I don't like it
either. I don't like it either. But the way that Joshua will see it is as a money grab. He'll see it as an easy money grab, but At this stage of his career, is it a fight he should be taking?
The Wade concept drops what might be the most shocking update in boxing this year. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul, not rumored, not teased, but reportedly finalizing on Netflix. That alone tells you how far the sport has evolved, or depending on your perspective, devolved. A streaming platform, a crossover personality, and a two-time heavyweight champion. This isn't traditional boxing, this is business. At its most ruthless. Wade's tone suggests disbelief wrapped in acceptance, because whether fans love it or hate it, this fight will dominate headlines. Jake Paul stepping up from exhibition scraps to face Anthony Joshua isn't bravery, it's insanity marketed as ambition. For Joshua, it's easy money. For Jake, it's potential suicide by boxing. The boxing community is torn purists see a mockery, while promoters see a goldmine. Either way, this news just changed the conversation.
Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul are finalizing a deal for a heavyweight fight on Netflix in December in Miami, sources tell The Ring's Mike Coppinger. Paul steps up to fight former heavyweight champion after his exhibition with Gervonta Davis was canceled.
Showbiz the adult gives the fight a dose of hard reality. He's not asking why Jake Paul is taking the fight, that part's obvious. He's asking why Anthony Joshua would even consider it. And it's a valid question. What does AJ gain by stepping in the ring with someone who's never fought a real heavyweight? No amateur pedigree, no meaningful resume, just hype and clicks. Showbiz reminds us that Joshua has played this game before mismatches, tune-ups, and high-reward, low-risk bouts. But this one might be the boldest cash grab of them all. If Joshua wins, nobody's impressed. If he loses, it's a global humiliation. The stakes aren't competitive, they're reputational. For Jake, this is a shortcut to legitimacy. For AJ, it's a dangerous flirtation with a circus act.
Joshua, and why would Anthony AJ Joshua take this fight in Jake Paul? Here's the thing, that shouldn't confuse you either. It ain't like Anthony AJ Joshua has never done this before. Take it on Jake Paul, who has had no heavyweight experience, no amateur background, has only fought a handful of professional boxers, one in which Tommy Fury defeated him.
Logan Paul's reaction says it all, disbelief mixed with brotherly pride and pure terror. He admits Jake's a lunatic for even considering the fight, and he's not wrong. Watching Anthony Joshua dismantle Francis Ngannou, a powerhouse who had never been knocked down, puts everything in perspective. This isn't YouTube beef or crossover fluff. This is stepping into a ring with one of the most dangerous punchers alive. Logan calls it crazy, but deep down, he knows Jake's obsession with proving himself has gone too far. If Jake somehow survives, he earns respect forever. But if Joshua lands even once clean, it's lights out, and the myth of Jake Paul the boxer might end right there. Logan's words aren't hype, they're a warning dressed as brotherly concern.
The Joshua thing is crazy.
Is that a real conversation?
Jake's a fucking lunatic, and it's probably real. I saw Joshua knock out Francis Ngannou, and the guy was like out cold for 5 minutes. And this is a guy who had never been knocked down, let alone knocked out.
If he steps in the ring with him, and actually a bell rings and there are punches thrown, every bit of Jake Paul is not a real boxer conversation is gone forever.
As the smoke clears and every boxing pundit from Tyson Fury to Logan Paul weighs in, one thing is certain, this fight has shaken the sport to its core. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul isn't just another main event, it's a collision between boxing's old guard and modern entertainment. To some, it's an insult to the craft, a world champion lowering himself to face a social media star. To others, it's genius, the perfect storm of hype, money, and mass appeal. But make no mistake, when that first bell rings, all the tweets and talk will vanish, and reality will hit as hard as Joshua's right hand. Jake Paul is stepping into the deep end of professional boxing, and there are no edits, no second takes, no influencer safety nets. This is the real game, and if he survives even a few rounds, he'll earn something no amount of subscribers can buy: respect. If you're a true boxing fan, you don't want to miss this. Hit that subscribe button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and tell us, is this fight a revolution or a reckless stunt?